Oh, hey guys, J-Base Felix here. Welcome back to the stream. Uh, yo guy, IDK, how you can work with so many tabs open. Oh yeah, I don't know how to do it either. I'm afraid to close certain tabs because I'm afraid as soon as I close... What's up, by the way? I think that's LK, right? I just assumed... Because I can't read your name, you told me before your name was LK. I think that's you. But, I'm afraid as soon as I close the tab, I'm gonna need it again. Yeah. So, fixed page. Yeah, I got you. So, shouts out to moms. You know, moms out here doing their thing. We got our first patron. We're gonna update it to 5, and I have the next Patreon goal. The next Patreon goal is once I reach 5 patrons, I will literally drink water. This water to be exact. It's crazy, I know. Let's fix that. We got another follower off stream, Moror Arts. So we're gonna update the follower goal too. We've gotten like a good amount of followers the past couple days. We've gotten like 4 or 5 in the past 2-3 days. So that's what's up. Make it 72. So shouts out to you, Moror Arts. Yo, what up, Sakaz? You drink water? Yeah, bro. It's crazy. Actually, if anybody that knows me, my family mainly, like, I prefer juice over everything else. Even soda. Sometimes I need soda to, like, burp if I eat too fast. But I prefer juice over everything else. But I'm trying to drink to drink more water. I find it easier when it's in bottles because I don't want to have to get a cup every time I want to drink water. When you have it in the bottle, you just do that. Wait, is this one open? This one's the one that's open? Yeah. You do that, and I didn't actually drink it. I'm not going to drink it unless somebody hits the hydrate. It does the channel point hydrate thing. So, if you don't want to see me die of thirst on stream, make sure to use your channel points for that. There you go. Shouts out to Sakaj for... I was completely kidding. I'm fine with drinking it without. But that sip is for you, my friend. Well, welcome to the stream, Daddy. Glad you could make it. I'm just coffee or water, nothing else. Oh, that's what's up. I mean, I definitely should be. Actually, no. I think I'm more addicted to soda than coffee. I don't even know if you can be addicted to soda. But actually, I think I'm trying to cut down on it. Let's say I am. Let's say I'm trying to cut down on it. Like I said though, I prefer juice over everything. It could be Minute Maid, those Minute Maid ones in the cardboard cartons. What you know about the tropical punch, or the fruit punch, or the berry punch. Well, just all the punches. I think they have strawberry lemonade too. Fire. Ocean Spray. Shouts out to Ocean Spray. Not sponsored. I don't know if Ocean Spray sponsors any streamers, but Ocean Spray is fire. But let's do our plug before we continue. You want to buy the book? My first book, Descendant Awakening, that is available on the Amazon store. The paperback will only run you up. Look at all this thickness. For all this thickness, all you gotta do is pay $20. Cheaper than most books. I promise you that. Or most books of this caliber and this thickness. If you have Kindle Unlimited, it's free $99 minus $99. If you have Kindle Digital, only $10. Make sure you give it a rating if you enjoy it. Ratings boost the rankings in the Amazon store by thousands. If you give it a rating and review, I shout you out like these lovely people down here. If you want to read the first 5 chapters free, say you're not sure whether you want to buy the book or not, that's available on scribblehub.com and wattpad.com. Read the first 5 chapters free. And if you want to support, consider subscribing here on Twitch. Consider subscribing on YouTube. If you're watching this stream on YouTube, subscribing on YouTube is free. And there are other ways to support. We got Patreon here. Shouts out to Moms once again, because she was the first patron and we're at the first Patreon goal. So she gets a shout out at the end of every stream, specifically for being the first patron. We also have a donation link that's in the chat now. It's in the panels down below, and that's in the description. The donation and the Patreon is in the description on YouTube. But other than that, let's address the title. I finished Hunter x Hunter this morning before I went to sleep, so it was like 8, 9 a.m. It was alright. I think the Great Island arc and the Chimera Ant arc were way too long. The ending was pretty satisfying. I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody who might not have watched it yet. My friend recommended it to me. He said it's like his top favorite anime, along with something else I know he always mentions, but I forgot. I think it is his favorite anime, but I was like, okay, I kind of see it, but it's definitely not even in my top 5. He rewatches it over and over. He's watching it along with somebody, one of his friends right now, and it's like, well, cool that you enjoy it, but it was just okay for me. The power system was pretty interesting and intricate. And I know where the show ended. The manga is still currently going. The show was given a good ending. I think it stopped airing in 2000. I don't want to say 2011. I know that's when it started airing. The rework of the show by Studio Madhouse. But yeah, it was okay. I don't really have much to say about it. It had its dark moments. Those dark moments were really enjoyable. I preferred, like, the whole Phantom Troop thing was kind of interesting. I like seeing villain groups and what they stand for and how they've come about, like the Akatsuki from Naruto, which is another one I have to actually continue watching, and well, the Phantom Troop from this. But yeah, the next one I'm watching, I want to watch it, like, another completed show. So I'm going to be watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood next. I heard that's like the top ranked anime of all time, and I'm really looking forward to it. That's been on my list for a while, and I've been putting it off for the longest time. But since I just finished Hunter x Hunter, I kind of want to continue my anime streak. Sometimes I go on streaks. There was like one hot summer, I came home from, I think it was freshman year of college. I came back and I watched just nothing but anime the entire summer, and I got a lot watched from that. But let's get into Monolon's origin when the documents don't want to freeze. It's probably because I got all these tabs open. It'd be the tabs, bro. I also need to update it. I forgot. It's gonna turn yellow soon, that arrow. I'm gonna have to do it after the stream. So when we last left off, Monolon was in one of the gods that created him. He was in the balanced gods dimension. There's an evil side, and a good side. The good side is like, oh, it's beautiful, and the air it's so warm and vibrant and radiant and beautiful, and then the dark side is on fire with dead everything, trees, grass. I'd say animals, but in the pocket dimensions, there isn't like wildlife. It'd be kind of effed up if a god died and nobody had access to its pocket dimension, and the animals were kind of just assed out in a dimension that, well, I guess they might be able to thrive still, but like nobody has access to them. that might be a good thing. You know, humans tend to F stuff up sometimes. So they said this training Monolon was going to undergo was ridiculously violent, and most beings wouldn't survive the training he's about to undergo. So right now, let's read off the last paragraph we left off with. I will admit, and this story is from Monolon's perspective. So I will admit I was still distracted by the negativity, heat, and smoking around us, but I was willing to prove I could best him even in the worst conditions. So, again, the balance god is about to start a fight with them, essentially. They're on the evil side right now, so there's a bunch of bad stuff flowing through Monolon right now, and it's kind of affecting him. Plus, he just found out he doesn't have access to his abilities. Well, actually, I didn't even read that part yet, so let's keep reading. I began by decreasing the amount of gravity around me like before, but it was to no avail. I was slowly beginning to realize I wouldn't have access to my abilities in this battle. This caused me to question what was ahead. Was it only this side of Gan's dimension that affected me this way? Was it the entirety of Gan's dimension? Did the other gods' dimensions affect me like this? I came to another realization when I thought back to what the gods said about training that could kill others. I stood my ground as Gan rushed at me, and now you're about to see some more improvisation. Most of the stories I write, they follow the beats that you see on the left side, but the writing itself, most of the time, is improvised. I write what's called a pantser, or I like to say I'm in between. So there's planners and pantsers. I like to call myself a plantser. Planners plan everything out to minute detail before getting into the actual writing of a story. Pantsers write by the seat of their pants. I like to call myself a plantser because you see I have the story outline laid out, but not everything in between laid out. So the action, the dialogue, just the events are what's planned, but the dialogue, the action, the sentences, everything is improvised on the spot whenever you see me write. And then, of course, I'll go back later and edit it. So yeah, let's continue. Stood my ground as Gan rushed at me. So Gan has two swords right now. Both hands, he's rushing at Monolon. Monolon just standing his ground. He raised both swords. Oops. And attempted to slam him down with my body. Dodge in time. And foolishly forgot that. Yeah. That'll happen when I'm writing. You'll see a lot of mistakes. Dodged in time and foolishly tried my luck breaking the sword. Breaking a sword. Even though I had come to the conclusion that my abilities were taken from me for the time being. My fist connected to the unknown metal. Again, looked down at me, then dragged the sword along the charred ground, pushing me fishing. Into a dead tree. So he takes the sword. Let's say this is Monolon. Chops. Monolon tries to attack it. Dan looks at him and then pushes the sword back, so Monolon is pressed up against a tree now. And that's just with one sword, so you'll see what he's about to do with the other sword. Pushing me into a dead tree. He raised his other sword. And in rapid succession, removed the sword holding me and stabbed me with the free sword through the tree. As I lay pinned. What should Gan do in this moment? He has him. Maybe we should just bring the sword down on him. So if the sword is like this and he tries bringing another sword down on him, that's not going to make much sense. We'll just try beheading him. I mean, Monolon's pinned to a tree, so he's kind of helpless in this moment. Let's have Monolon, even though he doesn't have his powers, let's have him do something ridiculous right here. Raise the non-pinned sword above my head. Again, even though I did not have access to my abilities, I was fighting grabbed the sword that pinned me to the tree by the edges and pushed with all my, let's say all my might. So he's pinned to a tree, right? He grabs the sword by the edges and pushes against it, so he's slicing his hand as he's doing this. The sword began to move, and Gan, in seeing this, hesitated. Fact, Balance God hesitated long enough for me to remove the sword from my body and dodge the other sword he was trying to bring down on me while I was pinned. Should he do now? Move the sword, dodges out the way. So maybe he should make use of the tree having a hole in it. Maybe Gan goes for a slice. Got it. horizontal / cutting the dead trees around us down as he did. This was my opportunity. Because I don't want the fight, these, if he ends up fighting all of them, I don't want them to drag out. Because he's going to end up fighting all of them at one time at the end of, not the story, but kind of like the first half. And then the other half is him getting together his crew, his space crew, for his conqueringness. As he did, cutting trees around us as he did, this was my opportunity. Waited, let's say, I waited for the exact moment the sword would have come into contact with my body and jumped. Not straight up. To the air, but onto the sword. As Gan brought the sword back up to himself, he looked at the spot I was just in. Instead, okay, sorry. Instead of paying attention to his blade. I need to keep, I have headphones. Let me see if that makes a difference with the, I haven't worn these in forever. Kind of beaten up a little bit. Oh no. The pads, they're kind of messed up. Let me see. I wonder if I put these on, if I can hear the notifications in my computer. Can I play a video or something? Hang on. Here. I don't think. No, let me see. None of these these are my... Nope, that's coming through the TV. And then the other one is just the laptop. And the other one is the... This is weird. Volume mixer, sound settings. Because I want to be able to hear people's notifications, so I'm not like... so I'm not missing out on people's stuff. Plus, the headphones kind of make me look professional. They make me feel professional. Output device. So you're not picking up my... You see, this is the input. Oh God, he started texting again. Oh, he's live. That's why. Okay. So you see the input here. That's what it should be. Now, output should be my... Beats. Unless it's because... I don't think it's because they're dead. Because they don't have to be charged like they're wait, do they? Shoot. Oh, maybe that is why. Oh. I think it's because they've been dead for a very long while. I don't have an outlet up here for a USB. All of my USB ports are full. So I'll just have to bring up a oh no, here's a brick. We'll just have to wait for this to charge though. And I'll probably try it next stream or off stream so it look less professional. I know this is taking up some time. Okay, so let's plug these in. I don't think it's gonna come on immediately. Unless it does. Wait, 1 sec. I gotta keep it down here because the charge is down here and it's only so long. Hang on. No, it didn't change. Unless... maybe. No. Alright, so we'll just wait for this to charge. Figure it out later. Alright, sorry, let's get back to it. Next time, hopefully next time I have something to hear my own computer with, because the output should not be, actually I can change the output in the settings right now. The output should not be the mic, but if it is not the mic, then you know that's why streamers and YouTubers, I was trying to figure out why. That's why YouTubers and streamers don't. That's why they wear headphones or earbuds, because if it's coming through the computer, then the mic that they're using is gonna pick it up. That's why. Listen, I'm not very technologically advanced with figuring this stuff out. Kind of figured out on my own. You know, there's plenty of tutorial videos and stuff. But whatever. Let's get back to this. Alright. Again, brought the sword back up to himself. He looked at the spot I was just in instead of paying attention to his blade. I had the element of surprise on my side as I leapt from the blade. It's L-E-A-P-T, right? Blade onto again's shoulder. And crawled across, let's say, to his shoulder, across his, I guess, trap area. enter his ear. Well done, Monolin. He said, is it conceding defeat? I believe that's the term. Alright, you said conceding defeat. He made both of his blades disappear. And the hole from the sword in my body began to heal. Okay. No. Because if he just conceded defeat and the hole in his body started to heal, that would mean they're in control of his regeneration. And I don't want that, especially for the final fight. The final fight's going to be really brutal and bloody. It's going to be like an anti-fight, antithesis fight. They disappear. And while I remained on his shoulder, he stepped over to the other side of the dimension. Did Gan explain? I don't think we had Gan explain why he fought. Yeah, he didn't. Okay. Well, let's make something up. He did. Full sword pierced me. Was in this moment I lost myself. My own thoughts. The fact that he only admitted defeat when I had the advantage for the first time in that short battle angered me. I wanted to enter his ear anyway and destroy him from the inside out. Wow, this can be taken out of context. Really weird context, but it can be Uh, hmm. Would not have mattered to me if he begged me to stop or not, or yeah, or not. The thought of the negative side influencing me popped into my head, but was gone as quickly as it appeared, for we had already entered the positive side of the dimension. These were my dark thoughts. Excuse me, what was the purpose? Demanded to know. We will explain. First, we meditate. Now, as God said, told me. I leapt from his shoulder and landed on the ground. In front of a river, say a creek. He stepped over the water with ease, turned to face me on the other side. We both sat on the soft grass, crossed our legs, closed our eyes. Had learned for the torment. Meditation is supposed to put one's mind at ease. For me, never did. Try imagining blank white space Let's say we're leaving to see those violent thoughts come to life before my eyes. Did not think of the other, the opposing, the whatever I fought for my own satisfaction. And began to call out to me. I had not realized how long I had been meditating, or if it was long at all. The reason for the battle was to provide you with balance. God said, "We why did we not start meditation to prove it could aid me in battle?" I questioned, so you could see the difference. Wait, I believe Monolon chose. Yeah. You would choose the east. Here's first. Okay. What was I gonna have him say here again? Reason for the battle was to provide you with a balance. I am here to show you that a calm mind, even in the heat of battle, is the most dangerous mind. Those words, he stood. We might have to take a break from this story. All of this is improvisation, and I'm not. I feel like this story is gonna take longer than I thought because we're already on page 6. We just started with the balanced God on page 3, and there are either 7 or 8 gods, and each of them are gonna have like their own little thing with monologue. So I don't want to cut the story, sell the story short by only doing specific gods' teachings and going through his thoughts with like twisting those teachings. So we might have to go back and forth between this story. It's also kind of like I'm not. It's difficult to say. I'm not feeling the story like that right now. Yes, it's interesting to see I think it's because I don't know who the god characters are yet. I didn't develop them that further. They're just supposed to represent an idea for Monolon to twist. So they're kind of speaking how you would imagine gods would. Oh, appreciate the bits cheered, moms. Thank you. Thank you for the bits. Party. Um, yeah, they're uh, yeah. I'm talking about it. As I was saying, I'm not really feeling, like I said, I'm not feeling the story, which is odd to say because we've been writing it on stream for the past 2 days. Um, but I think it's like I just said, it's because I'm not like I don't know who the god characters are just yet, and like I said, they're supposed to represent an idea for Monolon to twist in his own head because he's inherently evil and violent, and he's explaining that with his own thoughts, which is why I also chose to write it from his perspective. This whole meditation paragraph right here. And yet, they were created solely to die off in his origin, to show how powerful of a character Monolon is, and how much of a threat he's going to be in the 8th book, Descended Beyond. And then, yeah, it's because I don't... Plus, it can be kind of... I feel drained for some reason. I feel like it's taking a lot out of me to try and do all of this by the seat of my pants. All of this, even though I did call myself both a planner and a pantser, all of this was not even in the beats here. That, as you see there, they were just supposed to. It wasn't even supposed to be short, but like I knew I'd come up with it on the spot. It's just it feels like a lot coming up with all of these philosophies and his thought process on the spot. It might have been better to plan it out more. I don't know. It's just kind of the way I write, but like I said, me not feeling the story and trying to improvise and force, it's kind of like it feels like I'm kind of forcing the story. We might just have to hop on and off this story. On the spot writing, sometimes best writing. Yep, that's mainly how I write. I have, like I said, I have the events planned out, but most of my writing is on the spot, improvised. So all of this philosophy, all of this thought process, everything is I just came up with just now as you saw me write. Which is why I don't even know if I think I was kind of quiet at one point, but I don't even know if I probably didn't stop talking to myself and reading the words, because I feel like if I just stop talking and just write, that's not very entertaining for you guys. I feel like there needs to be some sort of sound in the stream besides old AC man back there. But yeah, I feel like it'd be good to take breaks from this story. So probably when we come back to it tomorrow, not ending stream just yet, but when we come back to the stream tomorrow, we're going to look at some of the other short stories. Also, before the stream, I was editing the second book again. I was going back through the first chapter because it had been a little while before I had actually looked at the first chapter of the second book on the stream. So I was looking back at that, seeing if I wanted to change anything about the first chapter before I took it to an editor. That's something I'm doing as well, off stream. I wouldn't do it on stream, but I'm looking for literary agents right now. Hopefully something comes, because I think one of my family members is just trying to help me out, land a literary agent. And once we get an agent, like, I'm confident in these ideas. These are like literally $1 billion ideas. All of the series I have created so far. So yeah. Because that's actually sexy, but yeah, go on. What? Bro. How's my first chapter look? It's okay. The first the first chapters, the chapters in like the first half of the second book are kind of like not really anthologies, but like they're separate from each other kind of. It's like Lux going on adventures and exploring the world more and more, with some of the characters that weren't in the spotlight in the first book. So Cobb's Asai's assistant, who's a part-time PI. She's the first adventure he has in that story, and I didn't. What's weird is it's possible I wrote this entire book. Like, I improvised this entire second book. Because if you look here at the beat sheet or the chapters, whatever you want to call it, I only named the chapters. I think I haven't had an idea in mind for each, but I might have written this, and there's no other like document that I have like this of the second book, so I might have written this all by the seat of my pants. And that's how I originally wrote, but I liked the whole planning thing and then writing a little bit more. So you see Lux and somebody else for the first few chapters, 5 as well, and then we get into a chapter without Lux, chapter 6. It's more about some other registered heroes fighting some. I think it's just fighting one villain. Yeah, most of these registered heroes fighting off one villain. It's actually, his power is kind of ridiculously strong, but and then we have Lux versus Regal. That's kind of like Lux's own chapter. You find out who Regal is much later, but actually you might find out in this story. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've actually sat down and reread any of my other books besides the first one, so that's why I'm going back and editing them. And then it's just more like plot stuff towards the end half. And I'm probably going to end up extending it somehow. Not doing the origin thing again. I did not enjoy it, but I felt like I needed to do that only for the first book at least, so you knew who the main characters were. But I gotta go back through it. I'm not gonna do it on stream. I was originally gonna do it on stream, but in case you haven't read the first book, I don't want to spoil anything. That's also why I'm not editing the second book. That's also why I'm not writing the 8th book on stream. Yeah. Like agents read those first 3 paragraphs, and if it doesn't have a certain touch, it's an entry rejection. Exactly. I try to remind myself of that because it can get, it can be kind of depressing to get so many. I think I'm up to 7 or 8 rejection letters now, even though I've sent out like 40. And I know I need to send out more. It doesn't seem like a lot, but plus there's only so many literary agencies out there, and I'm not sure whether I applied to this one, and I don't want to apply to another agent in an agency I already applied to. But yeah, it can get kind of grating, depressing to get so many rejection letters back to back. It's like, oh, we don't feel this is a good fit, but literary agents' choosing process is subjective, so you'll find somebody, and it's like, well, F you, because you're missing out on millions of dollars, but that's your choice. So once I get that good literary agent that's willing to stick it out and all that other stuff and learn about the 13 other series I have in production, they'll be a very happy person because their pockets will be fat. Let me do a fave. Send your chapter 1 to me. I'll edit it for you. Help you pick out some of those points that really don't help when facing an agent, but might feel good to you to label a story. You mean chapter 1 of the first book? Because that, I already had that. Well, the whole book was already. I'd paid somebody to edit it. Do you mean edit the chapter to make it seem more intriguing? Because then I wouldn't change the actual book to fit that. I wouldn't update the actual book to fit that then new intriguing chapter. And then in doing that, I feel like I'm kind of lying. But then again, the agents that are rejecting me are kind of a-holes. I kind of want the story to speak for itself. So if you show interest in the first chapter that I have, anyway, because it kind of starts off with a bang, aliens exist, and there's a superhero defending against the aliens. What the hell? It's to show like how crazy the world can be, and it gets even crazier. But if they're like into that, then you know they're definitely gonna have faith in the rest of the story and the other stories I have. Um, so yeah, I kind of want it to be true and honest for what it is currently, and you know, any agent that is willing to stick with me with that stuff, because first book is kind of rough. It's my first book, you know. Um, Once I get an editor from like a publishing company, it'll be way different and way more professional and way less mistakes. There are still mistakes I'm finding in the first book. But yeah, this idea started off as like the Descended series. Like it's kind of like my baby, and the first book in the series is definitely like it's like a pilot episode. And the first chapter is definitely like that. So yeah. I mean, when you're trying to send to an agent. Yeah, that's the first chapter of the already published book. I know that's very weird. That's not the way most people go about it. The only traditionally or normally the only way people get agents is from a book that's not already published, and that's how they also do like um, the book normally isn't published before a publishing deal, but if it does well enough on its own, then you know, then publishing companies might start calling you whatever. But I'm kind of trying to do it both ways. I wanted to see how well it would do on its own. And it's doing okay, but it's not where I want it to be, not where I need it to be right now. So that's why I'm also trying, you know, the literary agent thing. And I feel, like I said, through that, any agent that believes in the story, and is willing to look at the other stories, and see what will make those tick is, you know, it's worth finding that person and worth you know, going a long journey with them to all sorts of publishing deals and marketing and all of that stuff. It's difficult to market on your own, especially when you don't have any sort of following, which is why part of the reason I started streaming. You know, if I was some big YouTuber with millions of subscribers and then told everybody I wrote a book, the book would probably do well, regardless of what it was. Don't send the book you self-pub. Oh, well, it doesn't matter to me. Plus, it's on Amazon store. It could also just get taken down whenever, if necessary. I want to finish the sentence I was on. You choose. Finish that first. With those words, he stood up and walked past me towards the negative side of the dimension. Again, followed him. Feelings rushed back. Oddly enough, they were comforting. Alright. Okay. I think we're gonna end the stream. Like I said, I think I'm gonna take a break from the Mono on Origin stuff. do a story I'm kind of want to do. I went back to that's his story because I felt like I needed to do it, because it was already started and I didn't want to lose where I was. Kind of like I think I'm on the 4th chapter of the 8th book. I don't want to lose where I was. I remember exactly where I was. Somebody's supposed to escape a prison planet, and I don't know how I want to write that scene just yet, so I've been putting it off. Could have been on the 9th or 10th book by now, but I need to prioritize the 2nd book, which is why I went back to that instead. So I need to edit the 2nd book myself first, and then send it to an editor. Hope I get a literary agent in time that can hook me up with an editor, or a publishing company that can hook me up with an editor. So it's ready to go, ready to send to somebody by the time I get to that point, which is why I'm doing it now. I might as well do it now because, let's say I found a publishing deal the next day, and they're asking me, well, is this ready to go? Is it ready for an editor to see? I'm like, oh, no. This, I should start doing it now. Should have started, but nothing I can do about the past. Let's get on out of here. Let's do our plugs and hop on out of here. Okay, where's the? There we go. Alright, so if you want to support, consider subscribing here on Twitch, or supporting on Patreon, because that has actual perks. I don't have any emotes yet. I'll find somebody that does know how to make emotes. This comes with perks. If you want to donate, there's a donation link in the description along with the Patreon link. Donation link is in the chat now. It's also in the panels, and Patreon is in the panels on stream. If you want to read the first 5 chapters free, it's available on Scribble Hub and Wattpad. And first book is available on Amazon. Ascended Awakening paperback is only $20. Kindle Unlimited, free $99 minus $99. Kindle Digital $10. Make sure you give it a rating. If you get a rating and review, shout out like these lovely people down here. And yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will be back here tomorrow. Shouts out to Moms for being my first Patreon. Shouts out patron. Shouts out to LK Moms, Sikaj, and Daddy in the chat today. And yeah, all right, let's get out of here. And this is J-Base Phoenix once again.